I guess I'm just a basic bitch. So if you never see me again on the internet ever again for the rest of your life, just read the Diviners. Just read the Diviners. Just click off the video and read the Diviners. Like, just welcome to my channel. My name is Andrew. I'm just doing another recent reads. I will leave a whole playlist of all the books that I've read this year so far. I'm up to 48 right now. I'm really proud of myself. Can't believe that's actually coming out of my mouth. So I'm just going to tell you about 5 books that I read recently, and you can tell me if you've read them and what your thoughts on them were also. So listen, I am going to take this opportunity to shove a favorite in your throat again, and I will continue to do this forever because, listen, in my previous video, I talked about Six of Crows. I'm not going to tell you my thoughts on it here. You'll have to go watch that video. But the hype for this book and this series, I have full spoiler-filled reviews for book 1 and book 2. I will link them up above and in the description if I remember. But oh my goodness, this series, The Diviners by Libba Bray, is so underrated. I know that it's popular on BookTube, but when you compare the number of ratings to Six of Crows to this book, I don't think that it's fair. I think that this deserves to have the same number of ratings as Six of Crows. Six of Crows has 440,000 ratings, and this only has 92,000 ratings. And I am going to scream from the mountaintops until I am blue in the face about these books. If you like breathing, then you need to read this book because I just can't say enough good things. I just can't say enough good things. I really need more people to read these books. What are they about? Well, the first book follows your girl Evie O'Neill, who has magical abilities, and she can touch an object and see the history behind the object, and then she gets into some trouble. This is set in the 1920s, and she's has to go to New York. She's from a little small town in Ohio, and she's sent off to New York, and she's like, oh boo-hoo, I'm so sad. So she goes to New York and meets so many people that also are just divine. They're just all so divine. I just can't say no good thing. I read all 4 of these books in a 2-week period. The audiobooks are fantastic. I bought all of them physically. I will be rereading them hopefully every year for the rest of my life because it's going to be the highlight of my year. I plan to read these again, annotate them. I know the writing, I would say the strongest point in these books is probably the writing, and then the characters, and then the plot. But I also personally feel like they're all so equal, and I love them all so much because I love all the characters. I love the entire plot. I love the characters. The characters might be my personal favorite part, but I think that the writing, just the quotable lines, the things that Libba Bray has to say in this book and the following books are just so poetic and so beautiful and so moving and just so fantastic. So I really need this to get more ratings. I know that a lot of people that are some people that have big platforms have read it and didn't enjoy it. So unfortunately that does influence people, but there are a lot of people with smaller platforms that are obsessed, and we all need to band together to get people to read The Diviners because it is so good. It's also really queer. But we have black characters, Asian characters. In the second book we have Asian characters. This character, we do have the black characters introduced in this book. We've got Memphis, we've got Theta, we've got Evie O'Neill, we've got Henry, we've got all my best friends in this book. Okay, I'm sorry, I just really need to reread these because if you live in the United States, which there's 300 million of you out there, okay, that live in the United States, and I know a lot of you are not big on historical fiction, but this follows a cast of characters that you just can't help but love them, okay? Or at least I couldn't help but love them. It makes me so this is the book that got me to realize how painful it is when people don't appreciate it. It hurts a lot because these characters just feel they're so in my heart, and I just love them so much, and I really wish more people would read this series. The 4th book is definitely polarizing, but I think that it's still worth reading, and I still gave all 4 books 5 stars because of the characters. And this has me I used to I've said it maybe in this specific video, but I've definitely said it in my last videos, I'm much more usually a plot driven reader, but when you're this attached to characters, I can understand being a more character driven reader. When you can really attach yourself and see yourself in characters and just what they go through and just like their experiences or just like the things they want out of life are just so aligned with yourself. There just is nothing like it. There is nothing, and I have not since finishing this found a series that encapsulates just so many wonderful things. Like just her writing in here is so good. Like please read The Divine. Please at least give the first book a chance. I loved the first book. Like I would rank them book number 2, then book number 3 and 1 are pretty equal for me. I really liked the entry point to the series. Like I loved the beginning of this, and there was just, I just can't say enough good things, okay? I've already said so much about it on my channel. I will continue to sing the praises of this entire series for the rest of my life. Like, I don't think that it's gonna be really hard to top book 2 of this series this year for me. Like, I don't think anything is I'm gonna hold it up because I really don't like this cover. I really like, I'll put it on the screen, this cover. I think this cover is a much better representation of book 2 and what happens in book 2 and how you have characters in the historical event and you have the railroad and they get locked up sealed up in the sub. Book 2 was so good. Now I want to reread them again, even though I just read them like a month ago. I think it's already time for a reread. So I also don't like this cover. I like the original cover also. I just feel like the Diviners got such a bad marketing job because people say it's too scary, then people say it's not scary enough. And I personally find it to be the perfect level of scary. Like, it's not, there's no like jump scares. There's no like, the horror in it is like the horrors of our past. Okay. Like, and book 2 talks a lot about like, I don't know, man. She talks about the Chinese Exclusion Act. She talks about actual historical events that happened, but you're learning about them through the lens of like people that could have easily been alive in this time period. Like, if you somehow found this channel and you like don't know anything, like if you never see me again on the internet ever again for the rest of your life, just read The Diviners. Just read The Diviners. Just click off the video and read The Diviners. Like, just if you like 1920s and you like flappers and you like the Prohibition era, it's like post World War I and people are just thriving because it's like the end of a war, it's the end of a recession, and there's speakeasies. I mean, it's so fucking good. Like, speakeasies, magical powers, history, like good, really good romances. Like, I just feel like there's something for everyone in these books. And you're mostly following Henry in here, and you've got like his whole story. It's just such a beautiful love story. Like, there's just so many good romances, so many good friendships, so many good things. I really just want to reread them. I just want to reread them right now. I just want to stop the video and reread them myself. But I really hope I can find something that I love this much, as much as this. I really hope so. But the more I read, the harder it feels like it's gonna be. Like, I can't picture anything topping this, especially book 2. I don't think anything is gonna top book 2, which, by the way, it was signed, okay? And I've already read it and I already loved the book, so I will never be unhauling this because Miss Libba Bray gave me something. You know, this is like closer to what the original cover was, which you probably already saw because I already edited it in. But oh man, and the quote at the beginning, there's like, and book 3 was so good. Like, I'm done. All right, I'm done. But did you read it yet? Did you read it yet? Did you read it yet? This cover sucks. Please don't judge the books by their cover. Don't judge the book by their cover. Don't do it. Just read them. If you do nothing else, if you read nothing else, if you do nothing else your whole life, if you never read another book in your life, just read The Diviners. Just read it. Just read it. Just read it. Anyway, so that's all, like, that's 4 entire books that I read. And I, like I said, have spoiler-filled reviews of books 1 and 2. You should check those out. All right, then we're going to talk about a DNF. And I will tell you my opinion on what I read of it. And that is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Another really popular book. I didn't finish it because I didn't like it. And I know I've actually seen multiple people dislike it. I know I saw Hannah from Clockwork Reader didn't like it. A Dash of Ash didn't like it. Books with Emily Fogg didn't like it. So I'm here for you guys. If you didn't like it, I'm also didn't like it. I couldn't finish it. I did buy it. I did own it, but it's now in my unhaul pile, and I will not be continuing the series. I did not like it. I just felt like all that happens in it is a bunch of people get murdered at the beginning, then she's whisked away to fairy, then she just eats a bunch of fruit all the time, and then the fairies just like abuse her nonstop. And I'm sure it's probably really satisfying for like her to get abused and then for her to like rise up and like defend herself, and like no shade if you enjoyed it, but I just didn't care enough to read about it. I feel like many people are like Jude Duarte fans, like they are stans of Jude, and I didn't connect with her as a character that much. I felt like all like princes that were like abusing Jude, like I couldn't even keep track of who was doing what and forcing her to do what. I maybe cared about the guy who was like her kind of mentor type thing, and I remember they were like in a tunnel, like that was kind of cool a little bit, and the whole like girl who like really didn't want fairy to be real, like that was intriguing and that was interesting, but I just don't think I care enough to continue the series. So unfortunately, we're gonna end on that negative note. I'm so sorry. It just wasn't a book that appealed to me, unfortunately, and I feel really bad because I know like Cassandra Clare, Leigh Bardugo, and Holly Black are like all friends, so the fact that I love Cassandra Clare but I couldn't get into Leigh Bardugo, and I couldn't get in, I guess it just kind of spoiled how I feel about Leigh Bardugo's books because I didn't talk about that in this video, but I just like couldn't get into Leigh Bardugo's stuff, couldn't get into Holly Black's stuff, so I'm just like, should I like not trust them? I've never really like loved Fae stories, but like the Dark Artifices is all about Fae, sort of, but it's like there's more than Fae. Well, it's really all about Fae, but I don't know, man. I just really appreciate Cassandra. I think that Cassandra Clare has more mass market appeal because it's more urban fantasy, and urban fantasy is just easier to get your head around, and I guess I'm just a basic bitch. So those are all my thoughts. I probably will not read another Holly Black, and I probably will not read another. I am interested in Holly Black's White Cat series because I've heard comparisons for that to I've heard it's similar to Supernatural vibes, and I've heard that it was on Marissa Meyer's list of like some of her favorites, and I do like Marissa Meyer's writing from what I have read so far, so like I am interested to try that out, so I might try that out. And part of me also wants to try Ninth House because it's urban fantasy, so like maybe it's just those kinds of stories, like maybe I just only can connect with urban fantasy, maybe, I don't know. You'll have to stick around and see what I end up picking up, if I do pick up anything by them or not, so you'll have to subscribe. Well, I hope you're having a good day. I will leave my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, all that will be in the description below. I would love it if you would follow me, hit me up. I'd love to hear from you, hear what you're reading. If you have any thoughts on any of the books that I mentioned in this video, if you've read The Diviners, please find me, please connect with me, please. And if you read the first book and enjoyed it, you really need to continue the series because book 2 is life-changing. I mean, it's so good. All right, I talked about it enough. So have a good day, everybody. Bye.